We have seen people that have lost tens of thousands of pounds that are committing suicide. That's deaths caused by this faceless fraud.
This is an ever-changing landscape.
There was the blue pills, the pill press, and what looked like a firearm in a tool chest at the address.
What you see today will be different again tomorrow.
The dark web predominantly is just an interconnected network of computers. It's just anonymised. We're looking at end users not really being visible to other end users. But in truth, it's just computers talking to each other through encryption. It's not unusual. It's just that the dark web, as people define, is this space for criminality. We get an expanding criminal space, and we really lose touch when we're law enforcement because we're not used to that expansion.
Just when I feel as though I've got to grips with the dark web, we would have frequent conversations on a regular basis to say, this is an ever-changing landscape. What you see today will be different again tomorrow. So back in 2014, we received some intelligence from a trusted partner who identified there was a UK national responsible for making for sale on the dark web personal identifiable information, data, which was being used for a number of different frauds. Millions of breached credentials.
Whilst traditionally, you'd have known that there was a physical footprint in your neighbourhood. On this cybercrime, of course you don't. We could be looking at a criminal who's affected hundreds of thousands of people in the UK, and they're in Russia, or China, or Korea, or America, or any other part of the world.
The clear web is a train line, and you buy a ticket to go from A to B, and between A to B, there are a number of different stops. If anybody at any of those stops wants to check your ticket, they know that you've come from A and that you're going to B, and that your last station was this, and that your next station is going to be this. That's the clear web. The dark web would be, you might have a ticket that says A, it might not necessarily say B, and even if it does say B, if someone checked your ticket at any point, it wouldn't say where you'd come from, and it wouldn't say where you were going, and it wouldn't necessarily follow the same route. People are willing to take more risks because they feel safe within that space.
We've seen the growth, the expansion of criminality almost exponentially within these hidden services, building up through dark web marketplaces, Silk Road 2, but it's not just marketplaces, child sexual abuse, but also, of course, moving to that personal identifiable information.
As a criminal, I would be asking, why is the data on there? Well, you could use that in a phishing campaign. Yeah, but why would I want to use it in a phishing campaign? Because with this data and this phishing kit that I can provide for you, you put those two things together and this will be the outcome. Yeah, but I don't really have any knowledge around that. No, but we can support you through our customer service. Why would you then think, well, no, actually, that's not for me. I'm going to continue selling drugs and guns.
People will say, but they'll get the money back. Yeah, they might do. But the real impact on emotional and mental side is fundamentally the problem. And we have seen people that have lost tens of thousands of pounds from their accounts that are committing suicide. That's deaths caused by this faceless fraud. The investigation team really needed to drive it forwards and look at who the individuals involved were, where they lived, what their finances were, and effectively, did it look like they were the criminals involved? And this is where it honed down to being a Yorkshire-centric crime group, that the information had pointed to them owning a company and using that company to draw in data from individuals. And so the threat at that point was significant. But on the side of that, it brought in the unique identifiers from the dark web from a marketplace called Evolution. And one of the threat actors in this case, the individuals, was believed to be going by the name of Data Pro. Data Pro had accounts on Evolution and was actively selling national insurance numbers, date of births, names, card numbers, everything that a fraudster would need. The investigation team themselves knew that they had to create evidence around Data Pro to the individual, to the real world. And that de-anonymization process is something that we specialise in now, but at the time was really new. But they succeeded in doing that by looking at slips where emails had been used. One could then see that there were references, there was an evidence trail, building dark web to clear web. Investigation team went through on the stage 1 warrants and arrested a number of people. Arrest of these people led to seizure of digital devices, not only computers, but also mobile phones. We put the CyberDog through, and we've picked up some electronics from down here on the search.
Okay.
We pulled in the USBs, which have come through. They've been packaged at the scene. And then we've managed to get the seizures from there, which are in the laptop. And it quickly became clear that actually this criminality had diversified and appeared to be selling controlled substances online as well. The team went to the building, they went to the industrial premises, and when they went through the door, there was the blue pills, the pill press, and what looked like a firearm in a tool chest at the address.
On the day of the warrants being undertaken, you always have to be prepared for the unknowns. Hence the reason why you're bringing in all those different partnerships. For instance, the National Crime Agency, the National Cybersecurity Centre, Homeland Security in the US. It's through those partnerships, it's through that intelligence, and knowing that you have to move beyond traditional policing boundaries to identify that intelligence. If we were faced by similar challenges again, I know that our response would be a lot swifter.
There's very few times in my police career where I have actually believed that we are at the top of a wave and in the right place to make a difference.
They believe that it's dark to those people that would want to look in on that activity or those conversations. And for quite a long time, it has remained dark. Now, I would say that it's a light shade of grey.